What's up, Real MVPs, Ricky Widmer here, and welcome into the first, well, I shouldn't say the first. We've been doing this since about, August, September, but this is the first day of many, many good days for the MVP family, for MVP Games Live as well. If you don't know who I am, my name is Ricky Widmer. Welcome into MVP Games Live, the games talk show where we talk about all the happenings going on with gaming and the world of gaming. I am joined with my beautiful co-host, Soapy Muffin.
Hey!
Soapy, and it's a brand new, like today I'd be playing the song from Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog of It's a Brand New Day, because today is truly a brand new day as we are fully on YouTube, no longer on Twitch.
Yeah, I mean, dude, some people may even say, another song, it's a whole new world.
It's a whole new world. It's a good one. It's a good. So Soapy's like, I don't know if you want both of us singing. I don't know if you want one of us singing. I don't know if you want any of us singing. Now I am happy that Tim is in chat right now. Tim can actually be in chat because as he has voiced to us in the Discord that YouTube works better than Twitch does on his phone. So to me, I am happy for this. This is a brand new day. And Soapy, it seems like the MVP family, the MVP team, we got out of Discord right at the, or not out of Discord, we got out of Twitch right at the right time, because there is a fappening happening over there with the news today. We're not going to touch it, but I did want to bring it up at the beginning of the show. Apparently Twitch is like, hey, we're going to bash hot tub streams. We're going to take away your monetization. And then enough of them bitched to where now Twitch is caving and basically becoming a campsite by having a category for hot tub streamers.
Yep, they completely danced around the entire issue, and the main fix that everyone kept telling them, hey, this is how you can fix it. Just make it to where, those streams are labeled as adult.
Mm-hmm.
They have different monetization values.
Mm-hmm.
All you had to do. And Twitch is like, nope, we're just going to fucking dance around. We're going to tiptoe around it. Dude, I can feel so happy. I don't have to shit talk the channel and worry about us getting in trouble anymore.
Yeah, no, you can shit talk. Now it's like we can't shit talk Papa YouTube. Papa YouTube.
I mean, to be fair, people shit talk. Technically, it's not even Papa YouTube. It's Mommy YouTube.
It's Mommy YouTube. Because Papa Twitch, Mommy YouTube.
Yeah, well, because the owner of YouTube's yeah, it's like Susan. I don't know how to say her last name. It's like Wojciechowski or something like that.
Yeah, Susan.
Yeah, Susan Woj, not that Woj.
Not that Woj.
Yeah, Woj, not that Woj.
It feels good, and I will say that it feels good to be off a platform too that seems to be becoming just a glorified. I know there's going to be someone out there that's like, Ricky and Soapy do not value people trying to get their dollar, make their bank. Do whatever you want, but if you're going to be a streaming service and you're going to be like, hey, we don't want that here, then don't cater to that. Don't make your, they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. They're showing their bodies for the simps out there. I can say that now. I can say that on YouTube now, Soapy.
Oh my god, dude. I've been unleashed, Ricky.
Watch, YouTube comes in, can't say it. But we got a pretty good show for a Monday. I want to say jam-packed, but we only got two things on the docket today. One of them is pretty interesting. The other one is, we'll see if it's interesting or not. It's interesting in the headline, but when you talk about it, we'll see how much there really is there. Before we get into everything, though, let's go through the housekeeping. Very simple. Number one, if you are not in the MVP Discord, you are behind the eight ball. You are not a part of the greatest community in the universe, but you can join it right now. There's a link down below in the description of this video if you're watching on YouTube, or you can go to our channel, click on a video, boom, the link is there. I gotta figure out if Nightbot can work with YouTube because we don't have the exclamation Discord anymore, Soapy.
I fucking posted the wrong thing. I didn't copy the link.
Yeah, we now have to copy
on accident.
We now have to copy the link in there as you put mine goes LeBron MJ. That's your list. That's your list from earlier.
Yeah, I copied and pasted it over, dude. Apparently, there we go. There's the Discord link.
Oh man, this is a new foray into YouTube. But join the Discord if you're not in it today. If you want to support us, go over to patreon.com/MVPvids. There you can be rewarded for supporting us. We have different tiers with different rewards for supporters at the bronze, silver, gold, and platinum. What's the word that I'm looking for? Memberships. And thank you to our Patreon sponsor, Pat Hill. Last but not least, we're always live here on YouTube. Live Monday through Friday. You get our live streams after on YouTube, and they go up as videos on our YouTube page, MVP Entertainment. So if you're new to this channel, go ahead and hit that sub button. See, Soapy, it's so much better. I could just say, hey, go hit that sub button right below us. Right below. Dude, right here. Just hit that
sub button. There's the other thing you got to plug on YouTube.
What?
Channel member, my guy.
Yeah, so here's the thing. Here's the reason why I'm not bringing up members right now is our channel that we are on right now is not eligible for members yet, Soapy. So you and I are not special enough for members right now. So sports is the only way. But if you do want to support us that way, MVP, I will bring it up. MVP Sports has members. You can just support us there and just, hey, I watch the entertainment stuff. It's really the same stuff right now. The same kind of patron and members are pretty much the same thing right now. Thank you for that, Soapy. It's probably better that we brought that up. But Soapy, the first thing we are talking about today, and I did not go and make this before we went ahead, so I will make this on the fly, is the first topic. We're talking about Netflix. And this was something that came out last week, that Netflix is looking to get into the world of gaming. And I know that some people might be sitting there going, oh, well, Ricky, that kind of makes sense. Like, they're making all these pilots and stuff. Why don't they go ahead and make more gaming TV shows? Well, that's what you'd think they were talking about, Soapy. But they are not. According to Video Game Chronicle, Netflix is looking to expand its video games with a new Apple Arcade-style service. Launched in September 2019 and normally priced at $5, $4.99 per month, Apple Arcade offers unlimited access to over 100 games, all of which are ad-free, playable offline, and don't include microtransactions. In a statement issued to GameSpot, Netflix appeared to confirm intentions to expand on its focus on video games. Our members value the variety and quality of our content. It's why we've continually expanded our offering from series to documentaries, film, local language originals, and reality TV. Members also enjoy engaging more directly with stories they love through interactive shows like Bandersnatch and You vs. Wild, or games based on Stranger Things, La Casa de Papel, and To All the Boys. So we're excited to do more with interactive entertainment. Netflix has previously suggested that it saw entering the games market as a significant challenge. Speaking in 2019, CEO Reed Hastings claimed Netflix had no intentions to create a game streaming service. Soapy, should Netflix be entering the games world, or is this going to be them getting in over their heads?
Can people who aren't gaming companies please just stay the hell away from gaming? Please? Like, at the point, and this is my main concern behind it. I don't care that they're fucking stepping into it. It's the fact that once they step into it, then Hulu's gonna do it. And then Fox is gonna do it. And then everyone's gonna fucking do it. To the point it's gonna be like, okay, cool. It's oversaturated. Now at the point, like, hell, gaming's already almost at the point that it's already fucking oversaturated. I think, and once again, I get to start off the first show on fucking YouTube negative. You love to see it.
Hey, it's right on brand, Soapy. It's right on brand with Soapy Muffin.
Picking up right where I left off. But it's just the fact of, I just think it's at the point of, like, please, for the love of God, we get it. Video games make fucking money. Mm-hmm. Make money your own fucking way. Stop oversaturating a market, because what the fuck are you gonna do different?
Well, I mean, so the only thing I can think of that's different, and yet again, this is me kind of workshopping. So if Netflix ends up doing this, I will be sending them a cease and desist. No, I won't. But probably they're going to do this anyways. The thing that I think of is like, okay, if I'm at Netflix, I'm in that front office, I'm a big board member, I'm thinking to ourselves, how can we dive into gaming? And my first thought is, we have IP that is only for us. Like, they named a ton of their shows. Like, for example, Stranger Things. They have Stranger Things. No one can make a Stranger Things game without getting permission from Netflix. And I know we do have the... what's that zombie game where they had, like, the skins for Stranger Things? Fuck. I can't remember. Stranger Things, basically, they had, like, a DLC for one of the like zombie games that's out there. Well, obviously Netflix gave approval for that. So it's like you can't have a AAA Netflix series game without Netflix's approval. So that's cool. We can have basically games all about our shows. Here's the thing though, and you brought this up. Can companies that aren't game companies stay out of gaming? And like I look at it and I go, you don't have to stay out of gaming. Like gaming is one of those where it's like, hey, we're for the people, we're for everyone that wants to get into it. But can we get companies that basically know they can't do it on their own? Where Netflix does not have the people, I'm just saying this, Netflix does not have the people capable to understand what goes on in a video game or how to make a good video game or how to make a good gaming service. Now, if they went out there and said, okay, we're going to, like, what I would do if I was Netflix is I would do exactly what Microsoft was doing. I would find a lower studio or a lower, like, dev company that does the games that you want to do and say, hey, I like your product. I want to give you a butt ton of money in order to create this for us. I want to basically bring you on and create the Netflix gaming department of our company. Like, they could do that, and then it's like, okay, they're not a company that is just trying to get into game. Because that's the thing. Are they trying to get into gaming just to make money? Duh, they are. But is it just for the money? Or is it because, hey, our fans love our content, we want to give them another way to interact with this kind of year-round, where it's not just watching. Like Tim said, I need a Norcos game. Like, that would be amazing. There probably is. But, like, I'm saying, like, an actual, like... And here's the thing. They're saying Apple Arcade-style service. I mean, how many people who already have Apple are going to want to pay another, let's say it is $5 a month, like Apple. If I have Apple Arcade and I'm playing those games, why would I want to pay another $5 just to play games that have Netflix show themes on them?
Ooh. Yeah, and that's just where I was bringing up the oversaturating. If they're copying, like, if they're basically going to make it like, oh, like the Apple Arcade 2.0, okay, cool. How many games, like, essentially, like, Apple Arcade is already similar to Game Pass. So it's like, okay, cool. So now there's 4 things because there's also PlayStation Plus.
Yeah.
Like, so there's 4 of those. I wouldn't be surprised if Nintendo at some point either has one or is already doing one.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just view it as at the point of, like, my guy, fucking stop. You're doing the same thing that happened with streaming services of, like, it's at the point of, like, cool, there's too many streaming services.
And they were the beginning of the streaming services, too. They were the first.
Yeah, and, it's just at the point of where it's like, holy shit. For the love of God, can we go, like, 1 year without something getting fucking oversaturated for, like, 2 minutes?
No, man, if there's money to be made, they're going to go ahead and jump in. Like, that's the deal. Like, when I say, are they in for the money? Yeah, they're in for the money. And that's the thing where it's like, I almost look at this, and yet again, this is now me. Hey, Soapy, move over on the negative bus. I would like to come on board. choo choo, we're going on the negative train now. It's not a bus no more. It's a train.
I was gonna say we changed vehicles real fucking quick.
It's no longer a bus, it's a train. I look at this and I go, I don't see any genuine action here. But yet again, it's like, it's me being an adult. It's like, but they're a company. That's what you expect a company to do, is not care about you, is just care about the money. Like, if I was Netflix, this is exactly what I would do. And they're not going to do this. So if they do this, I will send them a cease and desist, because I have video evidence right here that I said it first. I wouldn't do the whole Apple Arcade streaming thing. I would make individual, like, AAA style games. But what I would do with them is I would say, okay, we're basically going to treat them like extensions of our show. So, like, let's say you have Stranger Things, and there's either a side story that you want to tell there, or there's like, you know what, like, we wanted to tell this story in Stranger Things Season 2, but we couldn't get it to fit, and really, like, we thought about making our own series about it, but we couldn't, like, stretch it out to a season. Hey, it may be short enough to be like, oh, it fits well as a video game. We can tell that story in video game format. Therefore, you're telling stories that are extensions of your properties already on Netflix, and you're getting that engagement. You're getting me to, if I'm watching Stranger Things, now I'm going to dive into the game, and now I'm not even just watching a story play out. I'm living that story. I am, like, because if you're a fan of that property, you're going to want to be in that universe. You're going to want to feel like you're one of those characters, like you're 11 in the Stranger Things universe. Hell, what if they made a game just about 11 and about, like, and I know Season 3, the trailer looks like it's diving into more of 11's past, but, like, that's what I would do. I would make games, and yet again, do what I said. Go out and do what Microsoft is doing. Find these lower end, like, I almost want to say, like, indie developers that don't have the resources to make the big AAA games, and say, hey, we really liked your work on this game. We feel like we want to make a game about one of our properties about this game. Would you guys want to basically be hired to develop this game for us? And that's how I would make the Netflix division of gaming for their company.
Yeah, and I mean, and the only thing I have with that is just a AAA game requires a massive team. Like, a lot of people don't realize how large of teams those are.
Yeah, but I think Netflix has the money.
They'd have to buy multiple studios.
Yeah, I think Netflix has the money.
Yeah, and I'm not doubting Netflix has the money. They're the biggest streaming service on the planet. The only thing is, how many indie studios? Yeah, do they have the patience? Do they have, how many studios are just on the market right now? Like, obviously, everyone's got a price.
Yeah.
But, for instance, like, they may not even view, like, an indie company may get an offer from Netflix and be like, no. Because we know what's going to happen. You're going to treat us like fucking shit the whole time we're up there. And then if your game flops, it's just going to be a...
That's another issue.
Yeah, like, that's the major thing with, like, for instance, when you see Sony and Microsoft, like, picking up all these companies, companies may be like, oh, we can convince these people. It's like, why don't we ever hear about EA buying a company without that company already being on the, like, brink of bankruptcy? It's like, it's the fact people know you don't want to work for a major corporation that has history of treating people like shit. I'm not saying Netflix has that history, but...
You're right, like, though.
Like, they don't have, like, that proven track record of, like, oh, we're known for being nice to employees. Like, at this point, we don't fucking know what they're like.
Yeah, and I mean, you're right to the fact of, like, that's where the gaming space is now even. The thing I went oh shit about when you started talking, Soapy, I love Tim's idea in the chat.
I just gotta shoot that down. Netflix can't buy the rights to Telltale because Telltale's owned by Microsoft.
No. Not like reboot Telltale specifically. I love the idea of, hey, this is a game, this is a style of game that isn't being made anymore. I would love if they took their games and did them in that Telltale style of, I'm talking about like, you're the character, you're making choices, the choices you make impact where the story goes and stuff. That's what I looked at that, and I was like, I would love if they started making those type of games.
Yeah, and the only thing is, and this is where like I get the, I don't even want to say hop on my Telltale high horse. No one else has done it like Telltale.
Yeah, and I'm not saying they will do it like Telltale. Like, see, and that's the thing. Like, the one thing I wanted to get to from your point is, not only is like game developers like, yeah, well, what makes me think you'll treat us differently than how the other big boy companies in gaming already treat the little guy, but also Netflix. Do you have the patience? Because I will tell you this, the first game that you make, there is no guarantee that it's going to be a big hit. There's no for certainty it's going to be a big hit. Let's say that first game you put out, even if it's Stranger Things IP, if it's a flop, what is Netflix going to do then? Are they going to willingly stay in and say, no, we're in this to win it, we're fucking doing it again? Or are they going to be the company that's like, well, dev company we brought on, this is a failure, we're cutting the whole thing, you guys go back to what you were doing, basically ruining your lives because you basically gave up your lives to join us, and now we're kicking you back out on the curb. Like, that's the reason why I brought up, do they have the patience? Do they have the patience? Because in gaming companies, it's not always hit. There are definitely some flops out there with every freaking company.
Yeah, and as well, just when I said like no one does Telltale games like Telltale does, the only reason why I was saying that was because that is such a niche type of game. It is hard to bring in a market for that. It's like, I'm going to point this out, you know, like the games that instantly pop up in my head that are like that, obviously, I'll just say Telltale games in general. There was, what was the one game that it's like you're being chased by the Wendigo during it?
Oh,
it was a
Get
PlayStation
Out.
exclusive.
No, Just Us? I know this one. I can fucking see the... I'm looking it up, Soapy.
Yeah, it was like the PlayStation exclusive, and like there's other ones like late shift in like the bunker, but it's like these are such a niche type of game.
Until Dawn.
It's like, yeah. So it's like that's why I kind of look at it as like you need a very specific IP to do this with, and I don't know if any of their IPs are the one that they could.
Yeah, I mean,
and unless if you have it to where like if you do Narcos, like it's not connected to the main story whatsoever. Like how, for instance, with like when they did The Walking Dead with Telltale, just using Telltale as an example, your character has no connection to the main story. The only connection you have is that Glenn's with your group, which shows like, okay, this is the same universe.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I would do it much like that, where like it gives, if they did the Telltale thing, give me the option to see, because you're not doing it to tell me the same stories that you've already told on Netflix. You're doing this to tell me different stories and create a universe within that series. Like, that's the thing I liked about The Walking Dead, and that's the great thing about The Walking Dead, why they were able to make spin-off shows, because it's like, wow, we focused on this one group in a little small area of Georgia. We have an entire country, an entire world that was affected by this, that they have not fucking touched. Now, people got bored of it really fucking quick, and I was one of them. But that's a story for a different day.
You don't like being in a zombies world where the zombies aren't a threat after the first season?
They're a threat. They're just like... Really, it's the people. The people are more of a threat than the zombies.
Yeah, which, I mean, like, that's typically, like, the normal theme in, like, zombie movies and shit like that.
And Rick making the wrong fucking decisions, too. Rick was kind of a dumbass.
Yeah, I mean,
Rick,
it also...
but he was a dumbass.
It's mostly just like in the later seasons, dude. They just fucking murder him by the thousands at that point. It's like, oh, cool. Well, the thing that this is named after, The Walking Dead, they don't fucking matter anymore. They're just like a background character. They just show up and like, hey, what's up, motherfucker? And then they die.
Then it's more like who's the, oh man, who was, Aaron Rodgers was a zombie? Ed Sheeran was a zombie? Like, then we're more focused on shit like that. Soapy, the next thing we are talking about, and I'm going to change our card really quickly here, is a little Final Fantasy news. As there is a report out there, this is from Polygon, Nihon and Ninja Gaiden developer Team Ninja is developing a new Final Fantasy spin-off action game for Square Enix, according to a report from Fanbyte. That game reportedly is titled Final Fantasy Origin and is expected to be announced in June in conjunction with E3 2021. Square Enix is confirmed to appear this year at E3. Fanbyte's reports follows a series of rumors regarding Final Fantasy Origin, which has been compared to From Software's Dark Souls series and Respawn Entertainment's Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. The Final Fantasy spin-off is said to be more accessible than Nihon for a wider audience and set during the events of the first game in the franchise. Origin is reportedly bound for PlayStation 5 with a Windows PC version coming later. Another component of the rumor surrounding Final Fantasy Origin is that Team Ninja will release a playable demo of the game this summer to solicit feedback from players. The studio similarly released alpha demos of Nihon and Nihon 2 ahead of each game's final production. Soapy, what's your thought on this? A Final Fantasy game that's like a Dark Souls game mixed with Jedi Fallen Order.
I mean, they're the same type of game. Like, I told to you before the show, and I don't want to have it that I don't contribute anything to this conversation. I don't care. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't like the Final Fantasy games. I've never liked them. Mm-hmm. And it's one of those things of like, okay, cool, we're going back to the original. Woo, cool, don't care.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not, like I said, I'm not trying to be like an absolute like uber douche about it.
Yeah.
Just be like, oh, next topic. Like, I just don't really have anything to say. Like, they're gonna say like, oh, this is a Souls-like game, and like Jedi Fallen Order, it's like, cool. So it's gonna literally be a copy and paste of those games with a Final Fantasy skin, because those games are literally the same as each other.
So here's the question I have about this. It's not really about Final Fantasy Origins, because to me with the Final Fantasy part, I think it's interesting. And yet again, there might be Final Fantasy fans that say, Ricky, even the last few numbered games have taken this same style. It seems interesting to me looking at the Final Fantasy VII Remake, looking at Final Fantasy Origins, that now it looks like, hey, Final Fantasy is going away from the turn-based model. They're going away from that, like, the and then it's like your character's just standing there. Swish. Swish. It's more of like a, hey, games now are more free-flowing. It's more like, hey, I'm in the universe and I'm actually walking around. This is another one of like, hey, they're going to be going into that style like they did with Final Fantasy. Here's my question, though, to you, Soapy, because you are a Dark Souls guy. So I wanted to ask you this question because of this report. Are the Dark Souls games, is that the next genre that is going to be oversaturated in gaming, where more companies feel, hey, I can make a game like that and make it hard like Dark Souls? Because I feel like that's all people are going to think. Hey, let's make it really hard, and that's a Dark Souls game.
No, I don't think it's going to be the next oversaturated one, and it's primarily because right now it's mostly just Japanese-based companies doing that style of game.
Okay.
Like, most American studios, because America has, like, a very huge, like, game studios. They're mass-producing games and everything. they're going more
was
towards
Ghost
like
of
the open world
Tsushima in
RPG.
that style? Sorry to cut you off.
Kinda. It's weird.
Or am I
Ghost
thinking
of
of
Tsushima,
the Sekiro?
Sekiro.
That's
Yes,
it.
you're
Okay.
thinking of Sekiro Die Shadows.
Yeah.
Whatever the fucking stupid game's called.
Shadows Die Twice.
Yeah. Sekiro is basically a Souls-like game.
Okay.
Which I'm just gonna say, I hate that they're called Souls-like games.
Mm-hmm.
And the only reason they call them that is because no one knew what to classify Dark Souls as. That's literally all they.
You're setting trends, baby.
Well, because like the whole thing was, people didn't want to throw it into a challenge game because the game's not purposely trying to fuck you over.
Mm-hmm.
Because obviously, like if you threw it into like challenge games, you're throwing it into the same game vein as like. I'm trying to think of an example of like Rage Mario, like or Unfair Mario, like Rage Cat and stuff like that. Like games that are meant to physically piss you off because they're trying to bullshit you.
Yeah. Naturally.
And like I just can't stand that it's called like a Souls-like game just because like they're like, I mean, this game's kind of hard. You walk around in it. I mean, it's like Dark Souls. Like, no, the thing that I hate, like, just say it's an open world action adventure game. All you have to do. Don't call it a Souls-like game. That's what it is.
An open world action adventure game.
It's literally all it is. The only difference between fucking Dark Souls and some other action adventure game is that Dark Souls is somewhat hard, but as I've said on the podcast before,
it's not really that hard.
Dark Souls is not hard. You're just bad at the game.
Oh, Soapy coming out with the hard negative. Like, nope, not hard at all. You're just bad. Get good, kid. Soapy just like stamps people with the get good, kid.
Yeah, dude, that's what I've had hammered into my head every time. I'm like, I look up like how to beat a boss in Dark Souls, and it's just like, just get good. Stupid. Like that's literally what it is. It's just get better at the game, and the game gets easier.
Mm-hmm. The other thing, go ahead. If you've got more, go ahead.
I don't know. It's more or less of just like once again, like I don't really have an opinion on the Final Fantasy part of it. It's just like cool, whatever. Like I don't really mind it.
Mm-hmm.
It's more or less of just please, for the love of God, stop calling these games Souls-like games, please. I'm begging.
The one thing I will say about the Final Fantasy part of it, though, it's gonna be interesting that that they say like, oh, it goes back to the very first game, because in my mind, the first Final Fantasy game that I played was 7. The first one that I knew about was 5. So like 5, 6, and 7 were like my first foray into knowing and playing Final Fantasy. Do you know when the first Final Fantasy game came out, Soapy?
1987.
1987.
I only know that.
Yeah.
Just because the fact of this trivia thing will always be stuck in my head of the reason why it's called Final Fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was basically Square Enix was going bankrupt, and they were like, all right, we have to do at least one last game. This is like our last contractually obligated game, and then we shut down, and they named it Final Fantasy.
And it saved the company.
Yep. And now they've milked that fucking thing like it's a cow.
Yeah, well, that's what you do. You milk the cash cow for all it's worth. It'll be interesting to see, like, because that's the thing. People older than me, like, maybe I'll say, what? That's going to be, like, people who are maybe late 30s, early 40s, who remember sitting on their NES and actually, like, playing Final Fantasy for the first time. Those people might be like, oh, fuck yeah, I remember this game. For guys like me, it's like, nah, I never played that. Like, I was, by the time I was born, Final Fantasy was already 3 years old. And by the time I was born, I'm just going to type in Final Fantasy 1990. Were they already on 3 at that point? List of Final Fantasy video games. Perfect. So by 93, by 90, yeah, they were already on Final Fantasy 3. And then by the time I was actually playing video games, we'll say about 94. Yeah, 94, they were already on Final Fantasy 5. So, like, by the time, 6 was 4. 5 was 2. So, I mean, by the time I was old enough to, like, be playing video games and remember what I was playing, they were already 6 games into the series. So I have never even seen anything with the first Final Fantasy game. So I feel like a lot of fans of the series who play video games now, hell, even if you're way younger than that, you might have been somebody who was, I'll say this, like, let's say if you were like me, to where like you're 7 years old and your first experience with Final Fantasy was Final Fantasy X. Like, you're sitting there and you're going, okay, it's been, what, 11 years? I'm now 18. And it's like, wow, I've never even knew anything about the Final Fantasy 1 game. I feel like that's going to be something interesting. It's going to be how many people are now going to get reintroduced to this first Final Fantasy, and what are you going to do with it? Because I'll ask you, is it going to be a challenge to kind of bring a world that was NES into the PS5 world?
I mean, I don't think it'll be too hard. I think the main thing with it is essentially getting people to understand. Mm-hmm. I think by this point, Cloud wasn't a thing.
No.
I think Cloud came later.
Yeah, he way
so
later.
Essentially, getting people to the point of like, hey, this game didn't have, like, they had named characters, but it wasn't like, oh, hey, like, here's this character, this is who you play. Like,
yeah.
This game was, like, Final Fantasy 1 was straight up like, hey, pick your fucking class, dum-dum, go.
Pick your fucking class. Yeah, basically what it was. Like, and that's the thing where it's like, that's why I'm intrigued for it, and I can't wait to see I can't wait to see when it's at E3, because I'm assuming that something like this will be at E3. Am I wrong?
Yeah, and I think they said something about it being at E3.
Yeah, they said that it's rumored to be at E3, but we don't know.
I mean, Square Enix is there. We're getting something.
Yeah, well, you're getting a Final Fantasy game.
Yeah, every time they go to fucking E3, it's always Final Fantasy.
Last question I got for you. This is an E3 question. You ready? Does Square Enix at E3 this year release Spider-Man for Marvel on PS5?
Oh, they fucking won't. That thing's never coming out.
Because I thought, I'm like, hey, we might get a Marvel update too. We might get something from Marvel.
I'm pretty sure the 10 people who still play that game would be absolutely ecstatic.
Hey, man, it's still on my PlayStation. I will finish it one day. Will I finish that or Last of Us 2 first? Ooh, which one do I finish first?
I want you to finish Last of Us 2 first,
but that's not going to happen. I will probably finish The Last of Us first. But that is going to do it for MVP Games Live today. Thank you guys for being a great audience. Our first audience here on YouTube. Remember, join the Discord if you have not already. Link is down below in the description. Make sure to hit that subscribe button so you're staying tuned to everything going on with MVP. If you want to support us, check out patreon.com/MVPvids, or you can go over to our brother channel, parent channel, MVP Sports, and become a member. They're really the same thing. So go ahead and do that if you want to support us. We're here on YouTube Monday through Friday. We're here live Monday through Friday talking about gaming. We're here posting stuff on YouTube all the time, so make sure to go ahead and hit that subscribe button. That's going to do it for Soapy and I today. We'll be back tomorrow talking about more gaming news. If you like sports, go over to MVP Sports on YouTube right now, as Dave and Jake will be live today talking about the NBA. That'll do it for us, though. Thank you guys for being as great as you always are. And as always, have a good day, everybody.
Bye.
So, Soapy, I forgot something. We're still live, by the way.
What'd you do?
So because Streamlabs is because I'm on YouTube, I had to make all the stuff again. Guess which one I forgot to make.
Which one?
The thank you one, the one that says thank you for watching. So that will be here tomorrow. Thank you guys for being great. We'll see you later.
I was gonna say, don't make me do the bye again, man.